What's up, everybody? It's your boy Brandon Blakeney, aka Brandon Lee TV, back at it again with another banger. Welcome back to the Live with Brandon Blakeney podcast. Now kick back, relax, and come take a ride with your boy as we recap the rest of these Elite 8 matchups, man. It's a Final Four on the line. South Carolina continues their winning ways with a dominant performance over Oregon State. We got Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark speaking about the rematch and their relationship and the way that they have catapulted and elevated the women's college basketball game. NC State also making history, getting into the Final Four. The Wolfpack, men's and women's, trying to get in, so they get a big dub as well. And we gotta dive into all the action from today. But before we get into all that, make sure y'all hit that subscribe button for all the latest and the greatest, and join our memberships. We got that exclusive content coming daily, weekly, whenever you need it. Now, let's get into it.
You are now locked into the Live with Brandon Blakeney podcast. Here is your host, Brandon Blakeney.
In our first game, South Carolina picked up the dub 70-58 over a tough, disciplined, and well-coached Oregon State team, to say the least. Coach Don Staley and these Gamecocks have answered and passed every test this season. The momentum is rolling, and we know by now this is a special group. South Carolina never trailed in this game and never really looked like they were in danger of losing the lead at any point, to be honest. Oregon State fought hard and actually outshot South Carolina 36.4% from the field compared to the Gamecocks' 33.3%. Also, man, South Carolina was chucking them threes. They knocked down 4 of them, shot 20% from the field behind the line compared to Oregon State's 32%, and they knocked down 8 3-pointers compared to South Carolina's 4. South Carolina didn't let the free throws hinder them too bad today, knocking down 14 of 18 compared to 10 of 13 for Oregon State. Of course, we expect this as much. They do it every time out. It feels like the Gamecocks win the battle on the glass with that deep, talented, and ferocious front line, 51-37, out-rebounding the Beavers. Now, Oregon State was moving the basketball, had 17 assists compared to South Carolina's 12. South Carolina wins the blocks 6-5 and the steals, and more importantly, they forced 12 turnovers for the usually more cautious Beavers. Looking at it for South Carolina, man, it continues to be a balanced team effort. Camila Cardoso, since she's come back from that one-game suspension, is putting this team on her back, being a dominant force on both ends of the floor like she has all season. She finished with 12 points and 9 rebounds. Bree Hall got it going as well, scoring in double figures, 10 points for her, 2 assists, 3 rebounds, aggressive, hunting her shot. It was a rough shooting day for Tahina Powell. She finishes with 5 points, 1 assist, 5 rebounds. Ashlyn Watkins with a game-high 14 boards. She played a lot of minutes this game as well, and they depended on her and her effort and her nonstop motor to really secure a lot of those rebounds. She also had 8 points. Tessa Johnson, the hot shooting freshman, has more confidence with every game, man. She's really finding her rhythm and carved out a solid role, a space for her to contribute on this team. She leads the team in scoring off the bench with 15 points. Also had 2 assists and 1 rebound. Sanaya Fagan, 8 points, 4 rebounds in just 12 minutes of play. And Malaysia Fulwiley only played 11 minutes in this contest, but she made them count. Had 7 points and 3 assists as well. Raven Johnson leads the way with the assist, 6 assists for her, 5 rebounds, 3 points to go along with it. So another truly balanced effort. And it's crazy because South Carolina played one of the worst games that we've seen them play all year, to be honest. And they still were able to dominate Oregon State on a bad, horrendous shooting night. Balance, poise, depth. South Carolina continues to push forward, and we've been saying it since the beginning of the season. They replaced 5 WNBA draft picks and look even better this year, could look even better next year. It's too much depth, man. In the front court, there's size, there's athleticism, and there's just grit. In the back court, they have playmakers, they have shooters all around, they have players that can get to their spots off the dribble, spread the floor, and it's just a lot to deal with for any team. You could take one player away and it's not gonna matter. That somebody else will step up and make plays. And now South Carolina moves on to yet another Final Four, setting the standard for women's basketball on the college side. Coach Don Staley, in familiar territory, has his team firing on all cylinders, and with it being Easter, she gave glory to God.
I mean, Easter Sunday's pretty cool. But we all know who leads, who's the reason for all seasons, and we just don't celebrate on the victories. We don't. Last year I thank God for even the loss, because I don't want to be one-sided, and to give him the glory when it's only befitting for wins. Easter is as significant as any other day, but he is risen.
In their Final Four matchup, South Carolina moves on to play cross-state rival NC State, a battle of the Carolinas in the Final Four for a trip to the Natty. Oh my goodness, NC State has made quite a run through this tournament and just knocked off the number 1 seed in their region, the Texas Longhorns. NC State took the lead and never gave it back. They take the win, 76-66. And it was just one of the best complete games we've seen the Wolfpack play, man. One of the best shooting nights that they've had in a little while now. They outshoot Texas 45.3% from the field compared to 39.7% for the Longhorns. Texas was horrendous from the three-point line, while NC State knocked down 9 of them things, shooting 50%. They also were aggressive in the paint, drawing those fouls, got to the line and shot 25 free throws, made 19 of them. Huge discrepancy compared to Texas only shooting 11, and they left 4 of those at the line. Texas dominated the glass in this one, though, y'all. They win the rebounding battle plus 13, 48-35, but couldn't capitalize on a lot of those second-chance possessions that they were getting. NC State wins the assist battle 16-14 and dominate the blocks and the steals, coming up with 7 blocks, 6 steals, and they force 13 turnovers. And then we have to emphasize drawing 21 fouls. Sheesh. Now for NC State, Mimi Collins, the versatile forward, 10 points, 1 assist, 4 rebounds, finding her shooting touch. River Baldwin, the big in the paint, controlling the lane for this group, continues to be a reliable low post option. She finishes with a nice 16 points and 2 rebounds. Isaiah James continues to be one of the most improved players in the nation, raising her scoring average from last year to almost double digits. She scores a game-high 27 points. She was hot. She was feeling it. She also threw out 4 assists and has 6 rebounds. Sanaya Rivers has been playing really well the last couple of games, really ramped it up for this team. And the length and the size of this lineup is just causing all types of havoc. Rivers, the South Carolina transfer, going to be meeting up with her old team, had 11 points, 5 assists, and 5 rebounds. Rounding out the double-digit scoring was Zoe Brooks, who had 10 points, 3 assists, and 5 rebounds. You look at it, man, and NC State has 5 players in double figures. It was a very well-balanced attack, and they were finding really, really good shots and making Texas pay with those open looks. And, man, NC State was a team that had a chance to get a 1 seed. And, they kind of fizzled out of the NCAA tournament or the ACC tournament a little sooner than people expected. And we weren't sure. They were ranked as high as like number 2 in the nation at one point. This group is talented. They lost some production last year, but they come back, they reload. James, her development, as well as Rivers being a great addition from the transfer portal, gets to match up with her team, her old team, South Carolina, where she really just had trouble carving out a role, carving out consistent minutes. She goes to NC State, and obviously it was the best move for her. She finds herself in the Final Four as a starter for the first time for the Wolfpack. NC State's making history, reaching all-time program highs, and they're going to have a tall task, the tallest task they've had all year, matching up against South Carolina, man. I mean, Camila Cardoso, River Baldwin, Chloe Kitts, Mimi Collins, Isaiah James we mentioned, Taina Powell, Raven Johnson, Sanaya Rivers. These matchups are going to be epic. I think NC State needs another hot shooting night like they did. They've got to use their length to try to battle against South Carolina. They don't have the front court depth, but they do have length all over the court. NC State does. And they've got to come out and make shots and keep this offense rolling, but also just make things difficult with their length for South Carolina. South Carolina needs to attack that paint. Keep doing what they're doing. Getting it to Camila Cardoso. Playing through her. They need those three-point shooters to knock some shots down, though. It was a tough shooting night for them. And we knew, this could possibly happen. The last couple of games, they've been really hot. They had a cold night. Played one of their worst games. And still won by double digits, y'all. Just showing y'all the talent and the sheer firepower. But definitely NC State needs a quick start. They need to make shots. They need to try to get this team in foul trouble like they did today with Texas. And just stay aggressive, really. Sanaya Rivers going against her old team. Definitely going to be some emotion, some feelings there. She just recently transferred. She was on this roster last year, guys. So, just seeing that she ended up in a successful situation where she can contribute more to a team that's looking to compete for a national championship, that's in the Final Four, salute to her. As a Gamecock fan, you definitely got to just be happy for the player at that point. But South Carolina, man, are arguably going to be coming in as the favorites for this matchup. A lot of firepower, gives them the edge in the backcourt as well as the front court. But NC State has more depth than the last few teams that South Carolina's played. Oregon State's, but they do play a few different type. They play a few different players. They definitely go to their bench, but NC State has a more productive bench. They've got more firepower, I believe, on the offensive side, more athleticism to counteract that size and that speed and that physicality from South Carolina. So I'm expecting a big-time matchup, man. Very excited, and we'll definitely dive in more into that matchup. Also fighting for a Final Four spot, we got Iowa and LSU, a rematch of the national championship game. And there's been so much talked about between Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark about other people, interjecting, but it's been nothing but love and respect when these two talk about each other and what they've done to elevate women's college basketball.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is, women's basketball is in a really great place. It's not just me and Angel, and I know she would say the exact same thing. There's so many stars in our game, so many young stars, so much young talent, and I think what we're both able to do for our respective programs has been really special, and the way we've elevated women's basketball has been really cool. And I've watched a lot of LSU games this year, and the way their fans support them has been cool. And Kim Mulkey has done a great job with that program, brings a national title in one of her first few years. So I think more than anything, it's just been great for women's basketball.
Me and Caitlin Clark don't hate each other. I want everybody to understand that it's just a super competitive game. And, I would just wish people realize that, once I get between those lines, it's no friends. I have plenty of friends on the court that I talk to outside of the game. But, when I get between those lines, we're not friends. We're not buddies. I'm going to talk trash to you. I'm going to do whatever it takes to get in your head the whole entire game. But after the game, we can kick it. I don't think people really realize that. And that's fine. I'll take the villain role. I'll take the hit for it. But I know we're going women's basketball. And if this is the way we're going to do it, then this is the way we're going to do it. You like it or you don't.
Straight up, this is going to be the biggest game of the year. I mean, you got Iowa, Caitlin Clark leading the way. She's got to continue to trust her supporting cast. You know what I'm saying? Just continue to let them flourish. We're seeing the rise of Gabby Marshall. Hannah Stalkey has to really get out in transition. LSU has those athletic bigs that can keep up with her going up and down the floor, so they got to take advantage of those opportunities, and they need players like Kate Martin, Sydney Falter to make shots, because it's going to be a high-scoring game, and I expect that we'll see that zone again from them as well, kind of like we saw at the end of their last matchup, where they just try to clog the paint and suffocate Angel Reese as well as Anissa Morrow. I think Haley Van Lith will be crucial in this game. She's going to have to be their zone buster. She's going to have to knock down shots. She's going to have to spread the floor and make them switch them out of this zone and make them go man-to-man to open up the floor for Angel Reese and Morrow to really operate. Flau'jae Johnson's going to be huge in this game. She's going to have to make shots as well, open up the floor. Michaela Williams. LSU not known for being a lethal three-point shooting team, but they have three-point shooters. They can knock down shots from the perimeter, force Iowa to guard them man-to-man. They're going to be able to get to that cup and finish. Iowa going to need players like O'Grady to step up in that paint. They're going to need their size, their physicality, their bigs. They got a few different bigs that have been playing minutes. None of them have really broken out. O'Grady is the closest. She's had some big games the last couple of, she's had a couple good performances in this tournament so far. So they're going to need their size and to be aggressive on that glass. And they're going to need Caitlin Clark to trust her teammates and really just share that basketball, man, and make the right basketball decisions and not shoot them out of this game. But this is epic. The storylines are writing themselves with this one, guys. We know it's going to be a lot of division on social media. You either rocking with Iowa, you're either rocking with LSU. And we've heard the way LSU's been villainized these last couple of weeks going up against UCLA. America's sweethearts versus the villains. And, we're seeing the same thing, the same storyline kind of get pushed with this Iowa situation too. But this is a chance for Caitlin Clark to really stamp her legacy once again with another stamp, getting that revenge, knocking off LSU, and being able to move on to the Final Four. This would be huge for Iowa. And then on the other side, LSU fighting through the noise, articles being written by them, being torn down by the Washington Post, as well as the LA Times, some would say. And they're continuing to fight through the noise. They fought through a sluggish performance for 6 quarters through their first 2 games. But they've been on fire since. And this team feels like a team of destiny at some points. They get past a very tough UCLA team. A lot of people had UCLA making the championship game. They survived. They fight. They grind it out. Angel Reese fouls out of the game. They still push through. There's some trash talking in the huddle. In the handshake line. Angel Reese talking smack to LSU's assistant coach. I'm surprised nobody stepped in, but, obviously she also mentioned that the coach said something crazy to her, so who knows what really was said. We know we couldn't hear everything, but this LSU team has just continued to roll, take the punches, and defend, and they the champions till they ain't the champions no more, man. Kim Mulkey and this group have put in the work. And they are silencing the outside noise, silencing the critics, and looking to make the Final Four as a 3 seed. I'm just saying. They're still in it to win it. But y'all let me know how y'all feel about the comments and everything that's going on and these matchups. Give me the previews and the predictions. What are y'all thinking about these matchups? Holler at your boy. And make sure y'all hit that subscribe button for all the latest and the greatest. And join our memberships. We got that exclusive content coming daily, weekly, whenever you need it. Now, until next time, we out.